Hi there, my name's Deva Nirguna. I'm an astrologer and a spiritual guide and counselor. And I'm talking to you from Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, and it's New Year's Eve. So happy New Year to everybody. This year is going to be a year of great metamorphosis. I think all astrologers are telling you about that. Today at the lake in the Mayan calendar, it is 13 Ich today. And this is a day where the spirits want to talk very loudly. It's a very good day to hear important messages. So on this New Year's Eve, I'm making this short video to tell you about the coming year and the power of transformation that can be involved in it. So much of our energy is to do with our personal practice. And this is a year for you to start to work deeply with your Kundalini energy. This is clearly there in the astrology, and I can explain this to you briefly here in this video. Let's talk a little astrology. Astrology is the study of our planetary system, our solar system, and its influence upon us. There's a basic assumption in astrology that we're connected to a bigger level of being, a bigger cosmos, a bigger intelligence, that we're not separate from it. And the patterns of the planets can be seen as a kind of music that's constantly being playing, and our birth chart you could see as a certain tuning or a note within that music. Are we in harmony with that music or out of harmony? So this weather pattern of the music is a nice way to think of our connection to astrology. Another way to see that maybe is it's a drama, it's a play, it's a deep storytelling of things, and the characters of the planets have scripts and jobs to do, and we can interact with those from our own view and see how our story unfolds, how our growth unfolds within these bigger dramas of life that are going on. And I think it's pretty clear we're in a pretty dramatic period of development right now, where old patterns are disappearing and new patterns, a metamorphosis has to go on. The symbol of the caterpillar becoming the butterfly is a wonderful analogy for where we are. And we've already been deep in an emergence of energy, but it's been very difficult, like in the chrysalis. We've been struggling to find our way, but come the spring, there will be an emergence of new possibilities of things. And we've had many clues about this already. Back on the winter solstice of 2020, we had a great meeting of Saturn and Jupiter at 0 degrees Aquarius. And this 0 degrees Aquarius is a very profound point when you start to look at astrology alchemically and tantrically in relation to the chakras in the body. It's kind of an embodiment of astrology. And I want to point out that this point of 0 degrees Aquarius is accented very strongly in this coming year. And so let's look a little bit at how we might understand this alchemical tantric approach to astrology. If you look carefully at the diagram behind, you can see there's an alchemical process represented by the energy of moving from Saturn at the bottom chakra alchemically, led through the chakras, through the planets, Jupiter the second, Mars the third, Venus the fourth, Mercury the fifth, Moon the sixth, Sun the seventh, to the from the lead to the gold of the sun. This is a process of spiritual development. That's why you often see in pictures of great beings, of saints, of Buddhas, they have a gold aura around them. So this process of alchemically, spiritually transforming yourself to the highest levels of being is being represented here also astrologically. So the very root chakra, because Saturn rules both Capricorn and Aquarius, the very bottom, the perineum, the Muladhara, is the place where Capricorn transforms to Aquarius. In fact, from this place, we have two roots. They're talked about in Kundalini practices, the Ida and the Pinga roots that go up like serpents, the coiled serpent that goes up and meets in the third eye. So from Aquarius, we can start a transformation process that leads to the third eye, and we can bring that energy back down from Leo at the top all the way back down to Capricorn. So there's energetic roots here represented by the signs of the zodiac. This clear point between Aquarius and Capricorn is a starting place for the Kundalini energy. This is where we had that conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter on the winter solstice in 2020. If you already tuned to this and you already have the knowledge, Jupiter, about Kundalini practice, then you would start to schedule Saturn and work with this practice already for a couple of years. If you have been, then so much energy is already transformed for you. What we get in this series, Pluto is coming to that same point. Pluto is very powerful. Pluto was discovered in the 30s at the same time as nuclear energy. So from very small things like atoms, you can have very big effects. So the process of Pluto applying itself to this bottom chakra point can be very, very powerful. If you make small changes in your schedule, they can have very big effects. If you take more time to consider personal practice, especially breath work or sound work or Kundalini work, these can have tremendously powerful effects on you. And this energy is going to be there for the next 2.5 years. Pluto actually moves into Aquarius for the first time on March 23rd. So it's literally a couple of days after the spring equinox. Saturn and Jupiter made that conjunction at the same place of 0 degrees Aquarius 2 years ago. And so for the next year, we should look at their progress from that moment. Saturn is scheduling and giving you structure, and Jupiter is the teachings and the wisdom that you're gaining from that. Saturn, for the last 6 years, has been working through the signs that it rules. So it's been very hard work trying to reestablish, review, renew structures. And on March 9th, it's going to move into Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and Neptune is there co-present, so very deep spiritual practice. So this is going to feel, when Jupiter moves into Pisces on March the 9th, a great release of energy, a great creativity can start to flow in the water sign of Pisces. If we look back at previous periods when Saturn went through first Capricorn and Aquarius for its 6-year period, at the start of the 60s, when it moved into Pisces, that was a great release of music, the Beatles, the Byrds, all of those albums that came out then, for instance, Revolver, and the Beatles Sutras. Listen to Tomorrow Never Knows. That's a great song. So Saturn is giving us organization and structure. It's going to be in Pisces for the next 2.5 years, while Pluto goes backwards and forwards over this same place where they were conjunct Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter, meanwhile, has moved on faster, and it's gone through Pisces, and at the start of the year, it's going to be in Aries. It's going to be in a Mars rule place, the third chakra. Let's get on with practice for the first 5 months of the year, and then it moves into Taurus, into the Venus ruled and heart ruled area of the chart. Saturn and Jupiter are making their ascent up this part of the Kundalini chart through the Ida part of the chart, and they would take several years to move up through here. So Jupiter's going to be in Taurus from the end of May, June, in that time, and it will stay there for a year. So from Aries to Taurus, you'll see the initial fire to do this, and then when Jupiter moves into Taurus, you will get the fruits of a lot of these rewards, and it's going to be co-present there with Uranus. So you'll feel this individuality in practice. So this is a tremendous year for you to restructure Saturn and to grow with your wisdom and practice, Jupiter. And if we put behind that this great power, this atomic force of Pluto, it's a tremendous year for you to start to emerge with this practice of Kundalini, which can be formal or informal. It's really about feeling and being present in your body. It's enjoying the body as a temple, however that is. It could be when you walk the dog, you're also doing practice of awareness of being in the body. At a much more personal level, also in the spring, Mars, which has been going backwards and forwards, and which is the planet of you choosing to do something, will finally stop being in Gemini, where it's been since last September, and will move on. And then it will become co-present in the summer with Venus in Leo, which is very powerful. That's at the top chakra part of the chart. So this is a bright period there in the summer. So around the spring equinox is a very, very, very powerful emergence. But before that, on January the 21st, we have a new moon in Aquarius at exactly 1 degree Aquarius. The sun and the moon, as you can see in the diagram, they're the top 2 planets are meeting January 21st. So this is a powerful precursor to initiate a very positive energy through starting to do practice. Between now and January 21st, I personally plan to do 21 days of practice and start to set my tone for the year in this sense of an emergence. And a butterfly emerges, it knows nothing about what it was like to be a caterpillar. This possibility of a higher level of being emergent is really real this time, at this time astrologically. This emergence, this coming out from this chrysalis over the next 2.5 years is going to become very, very evident by the time of the springtime. So I think it's great if you could start to educate yourself about Kundalini practice and start to apply it. I've actually made a very simple meditation tape of 33 minutes. If you want to get in touch with me, I will send it to you so you can start a very simple Kundalini practice. If you feel like getting in touch, please get in touch and talk to me about astrology, art, your spiritual practice, for ceremonies. It's not a time to be shy. Take care out there. Be well.